Sometimes many speak later. Like you may have a person who, most developmentally, we start speaking 9 months. Some people earlier, we definitely are babbling, but mama, daddy, different one words start around 9 to 12 months of age. Many individuals with autism don't start speaking until later, 3, 4, sometimes 5, and some autistic people may even end up being nonverbal. People often use body language or sarcasm to convey something. Autistic people often find these difficult to understand. Autistic people may be perceived as rude because they avoid eye contact. Their tone of voice may not always reflect the way an autistic person is feeling. An autistic person may not be able to use gesture or interpret other people's gestures. And autistic people may interpret language literally, or may misunderstand idioms. Like my head was spinning. They may look at you like your head isn't spinning. So they're very literal. And so they don't get sometimes when you're being sarcastic, and they're very honest. Sometimes many people say too honest. So they can be seen as rude when they're not meaning to be rude. They are just really being very honest. Um, Another with social interaction, building and sustaining relationships, giving and receiving compliments, engaging in conversation. That's a really difficult one for them, and understanding humor. Those are all difficult for individuals with autism, and showing concern for others. That's not everyone with autism, but these are typical for the majority. These are the norm for individuals with autism. Not to say that there's an autistic person who doesn't show these things. So it that's the thing. So when I'm giving this information, it does not mean that all autistic people display these. It just means that these are typical, are the norm for the majority of individuals with autism. How does it impact daily life? Autistic children may find it difficult to instigate or join and play with other children. Autistic children may find it difficult to take turns and share. This may cause problems with friendship. So a lot of times, especially at a young age, it's very hard for autistic children to make and keep friends. Developing and maintaining friendships and relationships can be difficult for everyone. Autistic adults have told us that they find this particularly difficult. This does not mean that they do not want friends or relationship. It's just difficult to maintain them. Autistic people may not engage in conversation in the same way and enjoy discussing factual issues rather than small talk. So where most of us will talk and conversate about the day to day, meaningless or just not important or factual information. And many autistic children, they are individuals, um, rely on facts, and they want to talk about what is, because that is true and that's real. So the things that are meaningless, quote unquote, or unimportant, they don't necessarily always want to conversate about that. Um, my next thing is predicting reactions and events relating to others, coping with changes. That is a very difficult for them. Many of us have problems with dealing with changes. People with autism have a very difficult have difficulties dealing with coping with changing, planning. So it's very vital that if you're caring for someone with autism, that you have a schedule and you stick to the schedule and give them an ample amount of time if you do change something. Um, so they are aware. I'm sorry. The next one, sorry, is the unusual sensory. They're very tactile, touch, movement. Sorry if that's noisy. I'm trying to set my other device right there. It is giving me issues. Movement, visual, hearing, smell, all of those. So sensory joy from certain colors, sensory joy they feel of certain materials, stimming, decreased feelings of pain, sensitivity to light, dislikes of certain colors, difficulties around noisy traffic or just noise in general, inability to tolerate certain smells, distress and anxiety in busy environments when they become overstimulated. Um, and they can be very sensitive to touch. These are all things that we need to be aware of. Autism, different experience, different autistic people. Understanding people with autism have a lot to offer but need support. Consider how we can adapt the environment to decrease sensory issues like noise, lighting, different things in our environment that may cause a person with autism stress. So now that I've discussed a little bit about autism and you're aware of what it means to have a person, an individual with autism, let's talk about and discuss some of the concerns that individual. So what I did, I sent out a questionnaire to several individuals who care for people with autism. And I am going to give you some of their answers to questions that I asked so we can look at it from their perspective. So what I did, I sent a questionnaire out to several individuals, and they range from caring for individuals, whether it was someone who was, I believe the youngest is 3, and the eldest person is 34. So all these individuals, there's a range. And it was what is your loved one's level of autism? And from these different people, I've gotten 1 through 3. So there's an individual who's 1, 2, well, a few individuals, and then there's 2 individuals who with a level 3. What is the most inspiring thing about your loved one with autism? One said their personality and their humor. Another one says their joy for life, their love and inspiration to others, their caring and generous spirit. My next one was what is the most rewarding thing about caring for your individual? And I have knowing that they are safe and loved, seeing them grow and become their own self. Um, what is the what is the most difficult part about what was the most difficult part of accepting the autism diagnosis? And to sum up, it was knowing the challenges that they would have. Um, and then the other thing was not just them accepting it, it was family members accepting it. And that was one of the hardest things that these individuals mainly talked about is seeing a person who looks just like me, looks just like you, quote unquote normal, and not accepting to the fact that neurologically they're different. They think, they behave, the way they see the world is different. Um, so that was, I think, the most difficult from these individuals is that getting others to understand the challenges that their loved one, that this individual has in their own mind, in their own daily life, um, the issues that they have to deal with, the the war that goes on with them in their own head. Um, because many times they do realize that they're different from others, that whether if they think different, they look different, they feel different, but they know when they're with others that they're different. So getting others to understand that just because I look just like you, I speak like you in many ways, that I'm still different. I perceive the world different. I learn different. My whole process is different. Um, what are three things that you wish you knew in the beginning? Um, and there are quite a few, but I'm going to just, there are some that intertwine that are mainly the pretty much on the same wavelength. Um, one, allow them to be free, forget societal rules, um, allow them, I'm sorry, allow them to learn and make mistakes, not to try to fix everything. And I think that's us when we're speaking from a parenting perspective. I think sometimes that's all of us wanting to make sure that we're the perfect parent and we're doing everything for our kids. And sometimes the best lesson is to allow them the difficulty of learning it on their own and learning it the hard way. What are the top three things you would tell others who don't understand individuals with autism? Um, so I'm looking at them and pretty much is allow them to be them, allow them to be who they are, accept them for who they are, be open minded, be caring, be kind. What kind of support do you receive from family? Many of them say that their family is very supportive, and they wouldn't be able to do a lot of this without the support of their family. I asked them, do they believe they receive enough um, support when they're caring for the individual? All of them said yes. A couple of them said in the beginning it was more difficult, and I think that was the time when people are trying to accept the fact that this person is different, and having, I think, those learning curves. Um, how do you balance work life and the responsibilities of caring for the person with autism? Individuals who children are still school age, is pretty much the same as any other parent. The parents with individuals who are adult and are level three, it's a little more challenging. They have had to change jobs or give up a job to care for the individual. Um, a lot of times, these individuals will not be able to live on their own, the level threes. So that has been a challenge. I have two who their loved ones are living co with a roommate. So they are living independent from their family. Their family goes and helps them and cares for them in that way, but they have their own space. Um, and the last one I'm going to leave you with, which I think is very important, and we can end this. I think next week. I think that's going to be our last week for the month of April, but that first day of May, I may still, because we have some special for you for next week. Um, I will come back and give you the rest, but the last one I want to leave for with you tonight is, what is the most challenging obstacle you face caring for the individual? And surprisingly, it's not the individual. It's protecting them from others who don't understand them. And guys, if that's not eye-opening, let me say that again. Caring for an autistic individual, the most challenging thing for the caregiver is not the individual with autism. It's others who don't understand the person with autism. That's the most challenging thing for them, is trying to get us, people who don't have individuals with autism, to understand. And I say us, and I'm saying others, because I don't have a child with autism. At least I don't think I do. They haven't been diagnosed. So getting people to understand that how they think and how they behave is who they are, and it's okay. And we should accept them, allow them to be who they are, as we want others to allow us to be who we are. And if you don't understand, the best way to understand is to learn about it, to ask questions, not in an insensitive way, but in a way where you want to grow, in a way where you want to understand, in a way where you want to help these individuals feel like you want to feel accepted, understood, loved, cared for. So, once again, it's April, it's Autism Awareness Month, and I hope that I have shared some light on autism for you. I hope that you can be a little kinder, a little more understanding to individuals with autism and those who are caring for them. And if you don't know something, if you want to know something, ask. We're always here. You can email us, you can DM us, you can send us a message on this video. If you're not looking at it now, if you look at it later, and just let us know how we can assist so we can make things better in our society, in our community, in our homes. Thank you. I hope you have a wonderful evening. I hope you have a great weekend. It is Easter weekend coming up. So if you're going to be with family and friends, I hope that you enjoy this time together. I will see you all next week. Enjoy tonight. And thank you again for coming on and sharing tonight with us. Bye.